So it has been 1 year since I brought the X-Pro1, and what a year it's been using this camera. I thought, what better way to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of me owning this beautiful camera than to get out and do a bit of street photography. Now, accompanied with it today is the Fuji 35 1.4. It's the only lens that I kept from the Fujifilm system, and these are the only two Fujifilm items that I have left in my setup. It's been a bit of a weird year for gear. I obviously had the Fujifilm X-10, and I've since decided to move into the kind of the Panasonic world. But the only kind of old Fujifilm camera and lens that I decided to keep were these two. And that is for a specific reason. The old Fujifilm sensor in the X-Pro1 is insane. It produces absolute magic. And again, the 35 1.4 is a magic producing lens. And combined with the 50mm full frame equivalent focal length, these two produce absolute belters of images. So I'm gonna head out and try and create some magic today. Alright, so the first little spot that I've come across, which I haven't before, is the bus station here in Sheffield. In this light, well, when the sun is shining, there seems to be nice little pockets of light everywhere. So the little shot that I'm looking for, I've just found, is in here, and it's reflecting over here. I'm pretty sure that's the reflection from over there. That's the reflection of that. So yeah, I'm gonna try and capture this. So I've been deep diving into street photography recently, trying to improve my skill, trying to learn a bit more, and I've come across kind of working the scene. And I covered this a little bit in the last video, what kind of photographer, street photographer you are you a camper, are you sitting and waiting for the shot, are you going out with a vision in mind, or are you racking up those steps? Are you a more on the fly street photographer, trying to capture those candid little moments with those little gestures? And then I came across working the scene, and something that I'm bad at is I'll come across a scene or come across something that I like, and I'll only wait there 5-10 minutes. However, sticking around and seeing how scenes kind of change over time, and something that I'm trying to instill in myself is sticking around in the scene. It's a cool little scene down here, lots of pockets of light. Blue is the main color here. The bus station was quiet when I got here, so I thought about moving on. And since then, buses have turned up, and there are now more subjects, there are more humans in the scene. So I'm gonna try and stick around here for a little bit, see what I can come up with, and try and work the scene a bit. That was the bus station in the Sheffield city centre. I've never been there before. I've been actually in it, and I think I've been in Sheffield for just over a year. And yeah, that is a wicked place to work a scene for a little bit of street photography. Just seems like a really cool place that I could just spend the rest of the day at. Lots of footfall, and yeah, lots of nice light. So that is something I will return to and spend a little bit longer. But today's journey is just adventuring, so I'm not going to be too static for too long. I spent a good little while there, and it's time to move on into the sun, into more of the sun, into more of the town centre. All right, see you in a minute. One thing that I've absolutely loved about the X-Pro1 is the simplicity of it. You pick it up, you can adjust the shutter speed on top. Top dials are like fantastic. I love using the Fujifilm native lenses with aperture control. The aperture rings are absolutely lovely to use. So that, along with the rangefinder-esque style of the camera, really makes for a really fun shooting experience. A lot of people have different opinions on what camera you need for street photography and all of that. And let me tell you, you don't actually need a lot. And I'm starting to realize that gear really doesn't matter too much. As long as you've got a goodish camera, it's all about training your eye and spending time developing your craft. Now, I was fortunate enough to pick up this Fujifilm X-Pro1 for an absolute steal. I can definitely recommend it for street photography. Okay, the autofocus isn't maybe on par with some of like the latest gear out there, but street photographers back in the day, or just photographers who were out there with their cameras capturing life, they weren't using Sony's autofocus. They weren't using the latest and greatest gear. They were just using the tools that they had and getting out in the world and capturing life. And that's what I feel like with the X-Pro1. I feel like it's more of a creative tool that I enjoy using rather than the latest and greatest gear. And I think that's why I like using some older cameras for street photography, is that it forces you to slow down. It actually forces you to use what you've learned out in real world application. You're not just relying on technology. Sometimes newer technology feels like a bit much. So it's nice to strip it back to bare bones and know that the photos that you're capturing are you and not just the camera. And I think confidence plays a little part in that. When I first started photography, I thought I needed the latest gear. I thought because I was really scared of missing shots, because I was really scared that my technical skill wasn't completely up to scratch. And it probably still isn't, but I feel a little bit more confident within my abilities, within my creative tool set to capture the things that I want to do. And that goes with the Fujifilm X-Pro1. I have recently started using it for some of my work, and the Fujifilm colors and whatever's in this body, like whatever the sensor and the lens is doing, is really, really pleasing to me. I've created some of my favorite images with the Fujifilm X-Pro1, and this body is 13 years old. It's released 13 years ago, so that's absolutely incredible. And that's why I won't sell the Fujifilm X-Pro1. It's because it's an absolute joy to use. And I love coming back to it time and time again. All right, so yesterday when I was out, I was with the Lumix LX5 and I was using my DJI mic, and I lost the back of the magnetic clip. So I thought I'd return to the scene to see if I could get it. And lo and behold, found it. I got it. Beautiful. All right, so welcome to the end of the video. I thought I'd finish up where I started today. And all in all, pretty mediocre day of street photography. Not all days are fantastic, but I'm out here and I'm practicing, and that is the main thing. What makes it even better is having a fun camera like the Fujifilm X-Pro1 to use. I love my Lumix S5 and that new setup, and I won't be departing from that. But every time I go out with the Fujifilm X-Pro1, I'm happy. It's a lot of fun to shoot with, and it feels like the whole camera has been stripped back to fundamentals of photography, and I'm absolutely still in love with it a year later. I think what I absolutely love about the Fujifilm X-Pro1 is the fact that it feels like a photography first camera, purely focused on photography, and that limitation really helps me focus on photography, helps me focus on composition, and completely eradicates any other kind of like noise. I'm just kind of focused, which is what you want when you're out doing some photography. All right, that is the end of the video. So remember to stay creative, get framing, and keep on adventuring on the weathered streets. See you later.